Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. Hope you're all doing absolutely excellent, and we just can't have the easy win, can we? Look, Battlefield 6 has been absolutely triumphant thus far. It's been a blast to play. It looks like an answer to consumer demands after Battlefield 2042, and that's all we really want at the end of the day. The reason Battlefield is thriving, though, is because it had that time to assess the market, where player trends were going, where our expectations were after Battlefield 2042, and strike while the iron's hot. And that iron's really hot right now because, coincidentally, at the same time, Call of Duty is kind of imploding. Not in the terms of sales. I don't know if there will be a day that ever happens, but at least in the public perception right now, Black Ops 7 isn't really going down super well. And we'll talk about that in a moment.
Oh no. Oh no.
So right now is Battlefield's moment to really gain a leg up, pull some fans over to at least try what they're doing here. And part of the successful formula of Battlefield as a whole has been those gaps in time where, hey, there is no Battlefield for a little bit. And when it comes around, like Battlefield 6, it is special. It is the thing you've waited for a long while. What if I told you, in light of all of this, in light of the investment in Battlefield 6, that EA wants to annualize this? Just the thing that would literally ruin what made Battlefield special and what made Call of Duty redundant. Let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen, and from there, it is going to spiderweb into a whole conversation about just not giving gamers what they want. And it's not like the customer is right 1,000% of the time. I think we can all admit there are times we have been incorrect. But I feel like gaming in particular, like, I am no genius. I see some of these moves, and I'm going to talk about a lot of them today where I'm like, what are we doing? Who wants this? Why are we doing this? So, ladies and gentlemen, join me on this journey. If you're new here, you're into what's going on with gaming, you like a good conversation every now and again, consider subscribing. So, yes, EA wants to annualize Battlefield. This came from Michael Pachter, who said, quote, "I talked to Byron Bede, good dude, former Activision guy, worked at Infinity Ward with Vince Zampella. He's running the Battlefield franchise, and their goal is 3 studios making Battlefield on a 3-year basis so they can get to Battlefield annually. He said it's going to take 5 or 6 years before they get 2 in a row, so we're not going to get there for a while." This is a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes these games tick. Like, just truthfully speaking, that's not what the series needs. Battlefield has always thrived as an alternative to Call of Duty. I mean, this goes back to, I can at least speak personally, when I picked up Battlefield Bad Company 2 on my PS3 of all places. I remember playing that there because I was burnt on COD, and this was such a breath of fresh air. Battlefield can be huge. It is huge. Look at the numbers it's pulling. It is absolutely going to be a behemoth of a game with this entry. There's no denying that. But overtaking Call of Duty and challenging them on an annual cycle, best of luck. But that was the hook I was kind of waiting for here. I think Battlefield 6 should be in line to still thrive. I'm not here trying to take away from DICE and the other studios participating, but I was always wondering when they were getting all these teams invested in just Battlefield 6, I went, this is a lot of resources for one game. Like, the campaigns here, Portals here, the multiplayer suite is here, Destructibility is here. This costs a lot of money, and EA's not really the given type. So what gives here? And now we're starting to get our answer a little bit. Again, I think it's obvious what makes Battlefield tick, but as I interviewed Mark Dara, we now understand EA is a company that when they have a pretty good money opportunity in front of them, they'll just tell the developer to fund it themselves. And that's the Dragon Age remasters or remakes that they were just not interested in doing. But if you're Battlefield, you have to play the long game. You have to play the patient game, because you look at Call of Duty's public perception and there is a tangible, noticeable difference of people not being very happy with where the brand is at. Though Activision has acknowledged, yes, we understand people have issues with all these different skin collabs, they're not going to do anything until they find a substitute for making that money back. So the skins have gotten completely out of control, and that's what's drove a lot of people to Battlefield 6. And even though Activision has said, well, we're not really scared of Battlefield, I feel like if Battlefield holds its ground and does what it's been doing, which is taking every couple of years to reassess, you chip away. You can't just knock down a giant like Call of Duty by going year to year with them. I mean, just look at how EA successfully killed Medal of Honor. Like, how did that go? You know, like, look how EA successfully killed Titanfall. How'd that go? You really want to kill Battlefield 2? Like, I wouldn't be surprised, but really? At least in this current cycle of Call of Duty, Battlefield is a huge beneficiary of the slide that Black Ops 7 is on. I mean, you could tell there's a little bit of a lack of confidence from Activision if the way they've handled these trailers has been anything to go by. They have absolutely buried the lead anytime they could with these Black Ops 7 trailers. They don't want you to know it's a Call of Duty game because it's basically anything but a Call of Duty game except for the name on the box. Like, yes, Call of Duty has always been, I think, especially with Black Ops, a little psychedelic. And I'm not here to say what I saw I thought looked bad. But this cycle of Call of Duty is bringing us back to Infinite Warfare. That was personally my least like Call of Duty. I get some people do like it. I'm not here to rain on your parade today. I'm just saying this is bringing me back to those times where like Call of Duty fans don't seem like they like what we like, which is like the floating staircases in the sky and the psychedelic colors and the crazy stuff like that. To me, when I see the trailers, it just feels like all of these teams working on Call of Duty want to do something differently so bad. And it's to the point where they're making Call of Duty not look or feel like Call of Duty. Again, a great opportunity for Battlefield, and for EA's brain, they're like, oh, so we go annual and we challenge them year to year and we whittle away. But like, it's just not how it goes. And especially when you can see how long it sometimes takes for Call of Duty to course correct. I know a slow year for Call of Duty is still like a #1 selling game, but that whittles away. That does change things. It does change the public perception. But to centralize the conversation, it all comes down to one simple thing, just giving people what they want and being duly rewarded for it. We're seeing that happen right now with EA, the pre-orders for Battlefield 6. Things are going really well because people are getting what they want. Let's turn our attention to Xbox. They're about to launch a handheld in October under the This is an Xbox moniker that doesn't play anywhere unless the developers choose to participate in said program. This is a opt-in program for publishers, yet if you read what Xbox is saying about this device between the games and the hardware, they're pushing the idea that this is only going to get better over time. And this is thanks to a AI-powered, what they call NPU, within the actual unit itself. So your device will get more powerful, but they've also said like more games are going to arrive here. So if the leaked price tag from Bill Kuhn from Deal Labs is anything to go by, Xbox is telling you this $900 purchase is something that you'll have to wait on for it to fully deliver on the things you'd expect it to do out of the box. And again, the Play Anywhere program that Xbox has pioneered, which I do really like, by the way, because it's wonderful to be able to take your save literally across any device. And I do believe that is the future. But right now, publishers have not fully opted in on this program. Will they eventually? I really hope so. Again, I think the program is great, but still, you can't be making a $900 purchase or even the $500 purchase on what might happen. And Xbox can't be claiming this is an Xbox when most of my console library does not play on this thing. And now I find many Xbox fans running defense saying, well, this is an enthusiast device, so why should we care? We should be okay with this because Xbox themselves are saying this is for them to learn for the next generation. And my brother in Christ, man, like, are you really gonna drink the Kool-Aid that quickly? Like, really? This is clever marketing speak. And it's funny to say that about Xbox, but they are being very coy with this device. Not deceptive, but this is absolutely like a half-step device. And in that sense, it goes back to the subject of the video of giving people what they want. You can literally find dozens upon dozens of videos of me begging for an Xbox handheld. Videos before this is even a rumor saying, like, I hope Xbox gets it together and makes their own handheld. And no matter how you slice it, this isn't that. Is this maybe a peek into the future of Xbox where it's this shared window Xbox kind of device? Sure. What I want, though, are my Xbox games on the go. And until I personally have that, I'm not buying it. I said this on podcast before, but I know how I have to cover my tracks because people always like to clip you, right? But if I get a review unit, sure, I'll check it out. But paying $900 for this, I'm good. And I think that'll be reflected in sales, though I doubt we'll ever see those numbers because it is Microsoft after all. However, with like Asus involved, maybe we see something, but again, who knows? Sticking with this theme of getting what we want, let's kind of turn the page now to what happens when a company who's not giving you what you want starts to finally give you what you want. I'm thinking of like that Batista clip where he's like, just give me what I want. You know what I want. Like, that's how I feel right now in this video. So WB Games has had an absolutely tragic past couple of years here. When you look at the entire rundown of just games, before we even get to studio closures, you have Multiverse's first launch and Hogwarts Legacy withstanding, but otherwise it's Gotham Knights, it's the Multiverse's 2.0 fake out with the beta not really being a beta and then coming back and completely flopping, Suicide Squad being an obvious flop in the making. But these are some of the biggest failures in gaming, and that's not even accounting for losing the Middle-earth series developer, where that series did quite well, and having them work on a Wonder Woman game that literally nobody asked for. As someone who gave all of these games a chance and extensively played, or yes, even beat some of these, WB might finally be learning a valuable lesson if they're paying attention to what is happening with, here we go, Lego Batman. I mean, look, man, I'm the Lego champion, all right? Like, I got pretty much every Lego game in my collection. Like, I've been here. However, all anyone really wanted from WB Games, particularly Rocksteady, was more Arkham-style superhero games, right? Single player, put me in the shoes or boots or whatever, the cape of whatever hero, and let me romp around a single-player world, and the sales showed. Did anyone ever get fatigued from these types of games? Like, after we got 3 Arkham games, did anyone feel fatigued? I personally didn't. I was eating it up, and that includes other games trying to copy the Arkham series. Like, I remember playing the Amazing Spider-Man games, and they were trying to do free-flow combat, or this year, just on a random hunch, I said, I'm going to just play and beat this Captain America game. They tried to do free-flow combat. Like, I never got tired of this style of game, but it's like, did Rocksteady get tired of making it? That's always a factor in the conversation. But from my point of view as a customer, I've been waiting since Arkham Knight to get what I want, and the fact that it's coming back through a Lego game, absolutely peak fiction, or non-fiction, I guess. Look, it looks incredible, and look at the reception. I can't believe I put a clip up on Twitter, because I was just super stoked for this game. I put a clip up on Twitter just showcasing some gameplay from IGN, and that thing banged, dude. Like 1 million+ views. Like, it absolutely lit people up because they went, this is what I want. And it's that charm of Lego combined with the Arkham style gameplay that you see here. It's got free flow combat. It has the same perching on the gargoyles that you find in the Arkham games. It's open world like the Arkham games, but it's a Lego game. It's incredible. It's so exciting. It's honestly probably my most anticipated game of next year, because I don't know if I've just blanked out since Gamescom, but this is the one game that comes to mind every time I think 2026. I'm tremendously excited about it. But again, it goes back to like this surprise factor of, oh my God, they're actually doing it, doing the obvious thing, giving you one of the best, if not the best action combat system in gaming in free flow once more, giving you a Batman video game, you know? And I get this wasn't an immediate reaction. This was likely from the old guard at WB, but I'm hoping they're paying attention as they're looking to green light and reallocate resources where they're currently hiring for a live service comic book game. And it's like, no, I can tell you right now, no, just by reputation, this game could be sick. Reputation alone will kill this game. So now we look at Take-Two, because to me, they are also in this interesting pocket. Strauss Zelnick, head of Take-Two, famously said they're in the business of making hits, which, what an absolutely fucking shitty quote, by the way. But look, I also kind of get it. When you are the publisher of games like Grand Theft Auto and NBA 2K, I do get the chest out energy of Strauss Zelnick, and I understand all of that. Like, yeah, we do make some of the biggest games on the planet. Like when GTA comes out, it's going to be the biggest game ever. I get why you'd be in the quote business of making hits, and something like Private Division is like a little whatever to you. But I hope Take-Two takes notice of what happens when you go for games that are maybe less of hits, but more of just standard successes, or at least from my point of view. Let's go to Mafia: The Old Country just one final time. I know I've been really beating the drum on this one hard and potentially even overselling it, because like it's a good game, great game even, but like I don't want to oversell it, but I think it's pretty good. And it sold 800K copies in 5 days, probably over 1 million by this point in time. And look, it's not gaming's biggest success, but when you look around at games that are generating stupid amounts of revenue, it's almost entirely games that are either indie or below the AAA standard. Peak has sold over 10 million copies as of just a couple of days ago. Repo is the best-selling game of the year. It sold 16.8 million copies. Now, make no mistake, these cheaper games selling for such high volumes has had a dramatic impact on how indie publishers will fund games. And I say this as someone who's been through the process, and they continue to just hunt down dirt cheap games that they can sell for $5 to $10, but they can sell like 10+ million units of. Like, that has affected the indie market, but that's not really the focal point, and I don't think it's necessarily like a negative thing. Like, what the focal point here is that gaming's biggest successes are not just AAA big budget marketing. It actually comes down to like one viral clip, one stream, and from there it just snowballs. Or if you really want to bring in big hit style games, like, okay, Oblivion, an Elder Scrolls game, right? Well, the Oblivion remaster is the second best selling game of the year as of this July. So ultimately, even if I am Strauss Zelnick, which I am not, I don't have nearly that much money, but if I were, and I had GTA in the fold, I get thinking like this, but I would also redefine what constitutes as a hit, because the change in the industry that AAA has yet to adopt or even comprehend, because most people up there aren't gamers, they're executives who know how to make money, is that anything can be a hit. And also the standard of a hit is very different, right? Because they're looking at the 16.8 million sales of Repo and wondering, well, oh, that's a $10 game or whatever, like $5 game, whatever. What can we do to sell that many units but for full price? That's what they're wondering. And I'm sure GTA will be that game, so Take-Two is maybe not wondering as much, but many others are. But these games are just fun factor, or in the case of Oblivion Remaster, as I said months ago, this is just the case of Bethesda finally giving people what they want. And I hope Bethesda's sitting there going, huh, wow, damn, they really wanted it, because I mean, you can find old videos of me saying, like, remaster so many of these Bethesda games. So it comes back to square one. Give the people what they want. That's all that's needed. And look how it pays out. Like, part of my crash out this entire video, but when I see EA's like, oh, we're going to annualize Battlefield. What? Why? And again, there was a time there wasn't a guessing game with all of this. Like, there was a point where we were wondering, will BioWare's next game be single player, right? Like, I'm talking Anthem into Veilguard. And for a while, it was going to be another multiplayer game. And that was unbelievable. I'm like, what has happened here? And I don't blame BioWare per se for those choices. I know that came down to EA, but it was also, will WB continue to make single player superhero games? There was a time that was a really, really obvious choice, and so on. This never ever had to be a guessing game, but obviously what execs have perceived as easy cash grabs have changed all of that. Like, oh, we just need one live service hit to break through. And I get it with the ballooning game budgets and all the same shit we've heard about for years. But again, neither here nor there, because while it's important, I've said the standards got to adjust eventually. But yeah, I just look at this news with EA and Battlefield and fume. I'm just like, it's right there in front of you. Can't you see it? It's right. This didn't just magically work out. Like, there's reasons it worked maybe magically with Call of Duty having an implosion this year, but the hard work that went in across all these teams to like study what fans wanted and then deploying all that, you can't do that every year. That's why the only annualized franchises that have really succeeded are like sports games, right? Like, what competition? There was a time when I was much younger that had actual competition. Like, remember, there was MLB The Show, which wasn't the only sports game, because there was like MLB 2K, and there was MLB Slugfest and Midway Sports Games. Come on, like, there was a time that there was competition there. But as that's sort of faded, and specifically with like Madden just licensing deals wiping out the competition, like just ridiculous, gross shit like that, that's why these annualized series thrive, because there's no option for the player. But in the case of first-person shooters, there are options. So just a bad choice if they go annual with this, in my opinion, and it's definitely going to hurt it over time. Maybe it'll feel good at first, like, all right, I love 6, like another Battlefield game already, great. And certainly there is a desire for just like more content from players. Like, I want to see more of X. I'm right there with you, but I think wrong series here. So let me know your thoughts down below. With that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.